Coming up tonight, anything worth having in life will come with pain. That, according to Canon Sebastian Campbell, during his Palm Sunday sermon this morning at the start of Holy Week. Plus, a group of police officers doing their part by giving the gift of life to a young Grand Bahamian mother. Stay close. And it's studio time. Our Jean Joseph had a sit-down with music producer, filmmaker, and creative Nathan McPhee. The details straight ahead as Our News Weekend edition starts now. This is Our News Weekend edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Megan Shepard. Millions of Christians around the world marking the observance of Palm Sunday today, which also marks the beginning of Holy Week on the Christian calendar. Here at home, our news team visited the parish of St. Gregory the Great for the traditional Palm Sunday March and Mass. Reverend Canon Sebastian Campbell preaching that anything worth having in life will come with pain, recalling the events that led up to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. He says although Jesus rode into Jerusalem to be crucified, it was a day of courage and hope.
They were looking forward to a time when God would intervene in the pain that they were going through. And God's people were suffering pain for hundreds of years. They were being humiliated, belittled, and regarded as nobodies. And they look forward to the time when God himself would come and God would rescue them, deliver them, set them free from the pain that they were enduring from Roman oppression. And so, when they see Jesus coming, they said, "Our time reached."
He says although you may be going through pain and turmoil, you must allow Jesus to be with you during the trying times.
Whatever your turmoil is, we are saying that we're supposed to find hope because we are Christians and we can allow Jesus to ride with us in the midst of the pain that we are going through. That's how we find hope. It means that we need a closer connectedness to Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior because we are going through hell on earth.
The third takeaway from the events of Palm Sunday, according to Canon Campbell, is that Jesus appeals to the heart and fosters peace.
Jesus came and entered in the hearts of the people on the side of the road, in the road, around the road on Palm Sunday. He came on what? A donkey. And that's powerful. An animal of peace. Jesus comes to us as a man of peace. Christians, we're supposed to be people of peace.
Awesome message. Well, meantime, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, along with a delegation of tourism officials in Florida promoting the islands of the Bahamas at Seatrade Global, the premier event for the cruising industry. Cooper explaining the Bahamas benefits greatly because of its proximity to the United States.
The cost of fuel is wreaking havoc on the cruise industry, and luckily, fortunately, we are blessed to be nearby. So what Parliamentary Secretary John Pinder is determined to do is to create multi-destination cruise travel within the Bahamas. So Freeport, Nassau, Bimini, and one of the private islands. So that's the conversations this week. We're talking really about the future of cruising.
Cooper adding that the Bahamas played an integral role in the cruising industry during the COVID pandemic as well as post-pandemic.
We harbored many ships in our waters during the COVID period. We have a very strong ship registry for cruise lines and other vessels. So we're partnering this week with Bahamas Maritime Authority as well, working closely with them to create synergies.
The goal going forward is to beat those record-setting numbers set in 2019.
5.4 million tourist arrivals by cruise. In 2019, this was a phenomenal record-setting year. We've matched that now in 2022 numbers, and we expect to beat it by at least 20% in 2023. With the reopening of the Nassau cruise port at the end of May, this is going to be a significant boost for cruising.
There was also a special Bahamas night, which Cooper describes as epic.
it's important that everywhere we go, we share a piece of the Bahamas. So last night we invited 800 of our closest friends to the beach. We put on a great reception. We had an opportunity to showcase Lassie Doe and the boys. We had Junkadoo, we had some Bahamian dancers. This was simply a phenomenal opportunity to showcase much of what we have to see to and to offer.
More business starting to shape up for vendors over at the Port Lucaya Marketplace in Grand Bahama. This as visitors have been making their rounds to the local tourist hotspot. Vendor Lorenzo McKinsey says this spring break season they've seen their fair share of traction to the area, but he feels more can be done to increase the numbers.
I always tell anyone, and I'll say to any person, that the people who are in the industry knows how to solve the problem of the industry. And so if they come to us and they can ask us how to fix it, then we could give them solution. And as long as we can get people our way, we're not asking for all the people, but those days when cruise ship come in, like Carnival comes in, then we'll have people come our way on tours, and then the taxi space in the parking lot now is allocated for the taxis, and so they're bringing them up and they're moving from here like how it used to be. And so let more things to be done around here with activities and music and stuff like that. That can be done more, and so they're working on all of that, and so that will be a plus for us.
And he's offering this suggestion.
You can imagine 4,000 people leaving from out of Port Lucaya to go to the tours and they come back here while the harbor still has cruise ship and making money. That could work. All those suggestions can work because with the hotel closed, no casinos there, then the guests will have that experience of being tended in like how the Berry Islands does. And it will be a great thing for us to be able to have that experience again in Port Lucaya, 3,000 to 4,000 people. Because truth of the matter is, tourists come here, they don't just want to go to the beach. They want the total package. They want the beach, they want the experience, they want the shopping, the jewelry, everything. Port Lucaya has it. And so we can give them that experience.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, lighted up blue for Autism Awareness Month. The story straight ahead. And there are still do-gooders in the world. Officers took the time out to give the gift of life to a young mother. Stay tuned. The details straight ahead after this break.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and 0 upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off labs, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
When we run because we can. We leap because we're free. And we push because it's what we do best. Our TV, home of the 50th Carifta Games.
The signature pink of the House of Parliament is going blue for the month of April. This as the country recognizes Autism Awareness Month under the theme, It's Okay to Be a Little Different. In fact, those little differences were celebrated yesterday by REACH and Education for Autism and Related Challenges, better known as REACH. Prime Minister Philip Davis noting the government's commitment to support children and families living with autism.
My government is determined that special education is most effective when a student's special needs are first recognized, diagnosed, and accommodated as early as possible. The Special Services Unit at the Ministry of Education provides a fairly broad range of diagnostic and remedial services, including speech, auditory and visual screening, physical health intervention, psychomotor evaluation, diagnosis and remediation of learning and behavioral problems.
Davis also noting the government recently passed a new mental health bill intended to transform and modernize the manner in which people with mental and emotional disabilities are treated.
As we work together to bring greater public awareness to autism, support more research and development to assist in formulating informed public policy and institutional programs and processes to better address autism, let it be known around the Bahamas and indeed the world from the highest level in government that it's okay to be a little different.
Chairman of REACH, Dwayne Gibson, noting that the organization launched a survey 1 year ago to gain more information about the number of families living with autism. While the participation was not as strong as hoped, he says they were still able to garner some concerning statistics.
We are deeply concerned that more children are being diagnosed, whether mild, moderate, or severe. As Dr. Saunders indicated earlier, the Center for Disease Control now places autism in 1 in every 36 children. When I first began this journey, I think it was 1 in 56, and now we're down to 1 in 36. It is a remarkable and very worrisome statistic, and these numbers have driven our organization to be more aggressive about the resources and therapeutic services and support we offer our members.
A number of children were also honored as 2023 REACH Star students for their continued development and excellence at their respective schools. Finally, Prime Minister Davis counting down the Light It Up Blue grand finale. A group of police officers lending a helping hand to a woman in need. Tonight, the Grand's Bahamian mother is sharing the story of how their small acts of kindness change her life. Jamila Mizik reports.
Shakonda Colby says her recent health challenges have had her in and out of hospital, making her day-to-day life more difficult.
I was diagnosed with NVP, tightness of the heart and chest, high blood pressure, and recently found out that I have sickle cells.
And recently, while she was in desperate need of blood, she says it was this conversation that brought a glimmer of hope.
I spoke to a friend of mine, he's an officer, and I told him that I am really going through a hard time and whatever, and I explained the situation that I'm going through. And he went on saying, don't worry about it. I am going to help you. This is what we are here for. I know sometimes you feel like the system do not work. And sometimes I do feel like that. But knowing that he lent a helping hand to me, it helped me to realize that, okay, I think there's hope.
The life-changing conversation led to an outpouring of love from a group of officers who donated blood.
And before you know it, it was a whole lot of people coming there, and it really brought joy to me that people really do care, you know? And I thank him for it each and every day, because without him and the rest of those co-workers of his, God bless them.
And Shakonda says because of their good deed, her children will get to witness their mother live to see another day.
I wasn't expecting to even get help, because I'm saying I was alone for 20 years in Grand Bahama. I grew up in the system, the Grand Bahama, and for the children's home, the Round Flea home. All my life, from the age of 6, I've been alone. So me having this condition and can't defend myself or my kids, it's like I really thought my back was against the wall. And when I got the help, it was like, keep on pushing, keep on trying, and you will make it through it.
Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jamila Mizik.
Awesome story. Thanks so much, Jamila. 12 years into her career, an advanced EMT is now battling breast cancer. That story straight ahead. After 12 years of serving as an EMT and recently graduating top of her class as an advanced EMT, there's only one thing holding Crystal Jones back from being on the road. Our Marlena Leonard has the story and how you can help.
Crystal Jones has been an EMT for the past 12 years and was class valedictorian of the latest class of advanced EMTs. But this almost didn't happen after she got a devastating diagnosis.
I had felt a lump from May that year, but it wasn't until September the hand started to swell. I got it checked out. Initially, they told me it's just a cyst. So the swelling was sort of the indication for me to test further and go and get it checked out again. And that's when they told me it was stage 2 breast cancer.
In her decade of experience as an EMT, the first responder has always seen the patients as more than just passengers to the hospital.
You treating strangers, but at the same time you look at them and say, okay, if this was my mother or this my father, how would I want them to be treated, you know? So you do your best, you make them comfortable. Like I said, when you're ill, there's so much things that goes through your mind, and that just to lift the burden a little, it goes a long way.
But now, as the patient herself, Crystal's quote for cancer treatments and medications is over $200,000. Her treatment has often been interrupted by financial constraints.
Without insurance, it was hard. I had to resort to fundraisers that seemed to be more work than profit. I did do a GoFundMe, but it was not fruitful. Chemo, on the other hand, was awful. But like I said, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for the journey because I said it made me a better person. My treatment right now is on hold because of financial constraints. I am supposed to do radiation, but the funding is not there right now.
Despite graduating top of her class, Crystal has been unable to work on the road as an advanced EMT because of her diagnosis. In the meantime, she credits her family, friends, and coworkers for creating a tight-knit support system for her and helping her stay positive in her life.
I will beat cancer, and I look forward to the day when I return to the road to render the care I was trained to do for those in need.
Reporting for Our News Weekend Edition, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks, Marlena. Well, over 20 new EMTs and advanced EMTs graduated from the Public Health Authority Academy this week, many of whom are from and returning to our family islands. Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville says increasing the amount of first responders in our country is key to improving health care in the family islands.
First responders in our family islands. We keep seeing patients being brought to the airport in the back of trucks. We believe the time has come for that to be done away and for us to be able to provide adequate services for patients throughout the archipelago and not exclusively New Providence and Grand Bahama.
And the health minister says the benefits extend beyond emergency situations. EMTs may be called to collaborate with local nurses on family islands to perform visits, which may prevent the need for some airlifts.
With the utilization of these professionals in collaboration with public health nurses to provide community paramedicine, also known as mobile integrated health care, in which EMS technicians provide care outside of the emergency response system, frequently through scheduled visits to the patient's home.
Right after the break, the forecast is on the way, so we'll know what's going on out there weather-wise. And it's studio time at Canoe. Our Jean Joseph has the details in our arts and entertainment segment. We're back right after this break. Stay close. Welcome back. Nice and sunny out today. Not sure how long that's going to last, but here's the weather report with what we can expect over the next few days. Five-year-old Nathan McPhee is a music producer, filmmaker, and creative with grand plans for the Bahamian creative landscape. McPhee is eager to tap into the market's potential with his Canoe Studios and tells our Jean Joseph how he plans to break the mold and help more Bahamian artists achieve their dreams.
Nathan McPhee was deep in the Atlanta music scene, working with record labels, producers, and artists until COVID forced him to return to the islands. While his time studying at the Savannah College of Art and Design and working in Atlanta were rewarding, he's finding fulfillment at home.
I studied film and TV for 2 years, and then I transferred to advertising and branding. And so I pretty much spent like 4 years in Atlanta, Georgia, just working with independent artists, working on the artist development side with record labels and recording studios. And from there, even so, I also was able to connect with Bahamian artists as well too. So I was working in Atlanta with Bahamian artists remotely, which is pretty cool.
Since coming home, Nate has identified gaps in the Bahamian creative landscape that he hopes to fill through his Canoe Studios brand.
We wanted to create a company where artists can thrive independently and not feel like they're boxed in, or they felt like they didn't have access to the things that they would need to advance their career. And so just from my experience of working with record labels and film production companies in the U.S., I was like, how can we create a new business model, a new ecosystem that fully supports the current modern creative? Because right now, creatives are really valuing independence, and so when you take that away from a creative, they kind of feel like they're, in this box. And so we wanted to create an environment where they can thrive holistically, but also as an artist, as a creative as well.
As a producer, Nate has had his fair share of collaborations and always strives to highlight Bahamian culture, whether he is working with local or international acts. He shares the highlights of one of his more recent collaborations with budding Bahamian artist Fergo International.
We did a collaboration that fused the elements of Afrobeats with Afro Goombay and a lot of Bahamian music as well too. So the rake and scrape, the calypso. So just taking different elements from that and fusing it all together. That's all a part of our culture and our history as Bahamians and as descendants of Africa as well too. So it was really fun working on that project. But I'm also in the works with several other artists as well too. Cat Ear Sounds, he's another one. Really super talented vocalist. And then just also looking for more artists to work with as well.
Nate is open to connecting with new fans and collaborators, and is just a click away.
You guys can reach me at Canoe Studios. That's our company's page, KONU Studios. You can also reach me at Nate at Canoe Studios, KONU Studios. And you could also follow me on Instagram at NXTETG, the same with Twitter as well too.
Reporting for Our News Weekend, Arts and Entertainment, I'm Jean Joseph.
And here's a sweet love story before we go. Local folklore has it that a flock of flamingos flew off and a female flamingo who was nursing a broken wing was left behind. Her mate, noticing his queen was not present in the flock, returned to where she was on Long Island and has been by her side ever since. There they are in a video shot by avid photographer Julie Hoffer. What a sweet love story that we all could learn from. And on that note, we thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend edition. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. We hope you have a sweet Sunday.